Welcome in, folks. We're going to get started this evening in earnest on the hunt for Earth 2.0 as part of Distant Worlds. We are just outside of the last waypoint near Beagle Point, and we're working our way in through the abyss. And I would very much like to get out of the abyss because it's so picked over. The valid regions for an Earth 2.0 find are kind of loosely the northeast corner. To include these here near the core. So we're going to follow the expedition, which I suspect is going to kind of zigzag through the region. But we'll see. We'll see where we end up. I have a current destination, but I'm actually going to change that. I am headed for that carrier, but I feel like I'm awful low in the plane, so I want to get higher. Let's see where that gets me. It's going to get mad at me. Oh no, it's just flat out telling me I can't go there. Come on now. It's part of the problem. There's just fewer systems to visit, so naturally more of them have been discovered. That seems like a good start. We'll do that. Whoops. Too far. Oh, back towards that galactic plane. That is beautiful. See if we can go ahead and head that way, see what we can find. I know I've had pretty rotten luck so far, leaving Beagle. I've only bumped into 3 or 4 systems that haven't been discovered. Looking at ED Exploration Buddy here, it looks like I will have some luck in the very near future, which is good. Gonna need that. Also like to make some money. Strictly speaking, this is not just a search for Earthlikes. I'm not going to be skipping over things. I'm definitely going to be stopping to smell the roses. I would like to get some exobio in. I did a little bit the other evening when I was in here. Honestly, I've been kind of busy wrapping up a colony build on my other character. But we should be able to focus a little more on DW3 now. I know I kind of took that on because I was getting a little burnout. That's okay too, sometimes that happens. Sometimes you just gotta go do something else for a little while. The numbers, hey Drank, the numbers in the grid on the galaxy map. Not sure what you mean by that. And I'm also not sure why my chat is apparently not coming through OBS. That's a little bit annoying. It's alright, I'll work around it. If it ain't one thing, it's another. It's alright, we will just move this around and that around. Huh, even my pinned message isn't in there. That is ever so slightly annoying. Let's see. You were wanting to know grid on the galaxy map. You talking about these coordinate numbers here on the edges? Because honestly, I don't have a lot of insight on those. Now, why did that delete your message? Oh, good grief. Streamlabs. Alright. Guess might as well get this out of the way now. Go down here. How about that? Hey, double tap. Welcome in. And Shelly. Everyone's getting here right as I'm dealing with an issue. I can read your message, Trank, and I told Streamlabs to tone it down a little bit. Were these the coordinates you were talking about to minimum? Apparently the auto mod is just full wrench mode. If these are the numbers you were asking about in the first couple messages there, they're coordinate grids, but beyond that, I don't have a lot of insight. I mean, as you back out, you get different sets of grids. I would like to learn more about that, but it's just not something I currently have a lot of knowledge on. Maybe we can learn together. And I think the system is already discovered. Yep, it sure is. That's alright. We'll scan it anyways. There may be something of interest here, maybe some biodata. The issue, for whatever reason, it was absolutely just killing that message that Trank said. It was a longer message, but it wasn't, to my knowledge, exceeding the limit or anything, and it just yelled at her for sending long messages. But just because everything up here is discovered doesn't mean it's not worth looking at. Remember, a lot of these systems got discovered pre-Odyssey. So it is entirely possible to run into systems that have planets with good exobio on them that have no first footfall. They're just, they've been mapped maybe, but before there was anything there on the planet. So it's still worth taking a look. You never know what you'll run into. Make sure you guys go check out Shelly and double tap if those work. We'll find out. They're saying if you do the survey, the middle number should be 0. Let's, here, one thing at a time. Let me finish hunting down these last 2 or 3 planets here. Well, in addition to over-moderating, it seems Streamlabs has just deserted me altogether this evening. Because I know I've got commands in for your guys' channel links. I set them up the other day. That's alright. Alright, back to the galaxy map. So you're saying if we're doing the survey, the middle number should be 0. I'm not sure. I mean, it's negative 58. That's negative 58. So what do I have to do? Go down? Yeah, okay, so up in the plane. No. Yeah, up in the plane would get me to 0. Not sure why that would matter for Earth 2.0. I would think the planetary... Yeah, Streamlabs has its moments. Now, I've also got a big banner stuck right across the bottom of my chat pop out here. I almost liked it better in VR when I couldn't see all these. Alright, we'll get to it. Let's take a gander at this system. I don't see anything on the exploration buddy. There's only one high metal content, and I don't think it had biology. It did not. Okay. I guess we'll move on. Yeah, it's definitely worth going and checking these systems over again, because so many have been discovered. You know, the game's been out for 10 years, and we've only had Odyssey and Exobiology for, what, 3 of them? And on top of that, some of these, you run into bodies all the time that are explored, that were explored by a console player, and the console players don't have Odyssey at all. I mean, they can go down and land on a planet because of Horizons, but that's where they stopped. They don't have any on-foot content. And we don't share playability with console players, but we do share discovery tags if a console player discovers on PC. So just because it's discovered doesn't necessarily mean it was discovered by a PC player who even could go check it out. It's always worth looking. Oh boy, that's going to keep me busy, and this is a first discovery, so not mad about that. A little aggravated that they're all like... I'm going to try really hard not to cherry pick, though. I've kind of been doing Distant Worlds full throttle so far, and I'd really like to tone it back and enjoy it a little more. It's not really my playstyle. I mean, I can grind with the best of them, but I do like to slow down. I would love to know what Streamlabs' overarching issue for the evening is. Zero would be right in the middle. Yeah, Zero is in the middle of the galactic plane, from what I was seeing there. I couldn't find the criteria for Earth 2.0. I was trying to find it. I didn't see it pinned anywhere in FleetCom. Doesn't mean it's not there, though. The way information is scattered over there, it could be right in front of you and you would miss it, so it's hard to tell. Not that I'm criticizing the org team over there. I understand very well exactly how much work they've had to put into this, but it's still a little frustrating from time to time. Oh, okay. Oh no, you're talking about the planetary or the stellar survey. Yeah, no, that makes sense to be at elevation 0 in the galactic plane, because they're not wanting you to do literally every system. They want you to take a sample, and then they're going to extrapolate data from there. So that makes sense. Yeah, no. I'm picking up what you're putting down now. How's the audio levels out there? I did some checking earlier with... I've played with the equalization on my mic a little bit too to get it sounding a bit more natural. It seemed kind of flat to me. Alright, where's my last 5? There's a couple. Yeah, not a lot of meat on these bones. Now I just gotta find the last one. As Sean Connery so famously said in the Hunt for Red October, "Give me a ping for Chile. One ping only, please." And there it is. Let's see. Did we get anything interesting? A couple of pairs. Not a lot of biology. There is one icy body with one biosignal. Let's see, what is that? Body B1 to this one. Yeah, I'm not terribly interested in hunting down bacteria. No, I don't necessarily not want the game to come through. I thought it was a bit quiet. Oh, that's not even registering in OBS. What is going on there? Can't win. Ah, there we go. Well, it's showing on OBS now. Maybe it was just real quiet because of the, because I was in FSS mode. Boy, I can tell we are going to have a comedy of errors because my headphones just died. What a day. That's alright. I'll play without audio. I haven't really been using them because I've been in VR, so charging them has not been a priority. Just lay those off the side. Let's see if we can get the audio up a little bit for you guys. Try that on for size. Now I'm going to have to watch and make sure it doesn't bleed over on the mic. Which it doesn't seem to be doing. Okay. I can live with that. Ah, yeah. I'm not entirely sure what the roommate's doing upstairs. He may be doing something connection intensive. The next system I don't think was worth really looking at, but we'll take a gander. Looks like by about jump 11, I start hitting. Yeah, that one line from Red October, I've pretty well got down. I've actually got a buddy in Pennsylvania. He'll call me up, and the only thing he'll say is, "Hey, do the thing." And he's got somebody standing there with me on speakerphone waiting to hear exactly that line. So I've had a lot of practice. Probably ought to go ahead and fill up on fuel. It's my only complaint now that I've experienced life in a Caspian is getting fuel into other ships is actual work. And that's partly because the Caspian is so fuel efficient, and partly because I've got an extra like 128 ton tank on it, so it's got fuel for days. And a jump range to go with it, but it's set up for ratting, and I really wanted to live in the ASP for a little while. I figure I'll spend plenty of time in here in VR, get to know that cockpit a little bit, because I haven't really given it a lot of time yet. So many ships, so little time. Oh, I haven't even honked the system. I am a terrible explorer. This system, unlike the last one, at least has some things to look forward to other than icy bodies. I know when I first started getting into exploration, I spent an awful lot of time going down and checking out icy bodies. They are good for geysers. There's a lot of... Oh yeah, and I wasn't maxed out on the scoop. At least I don't think I was. I spent a lot of time though. Features, they've got geology and geysers and stuff. Geysers for our friends across the pond. Which was particularly funny on the last expedition I was on, as we had some older folks on it. In fact, one of them is the guy in charge of Earth 2.0 and the Stellar Survey, just barely. And we were constantly cracking jokes in voice about the geezers finding the geezers. Because he is an older gentleman. Wait, I should have looked at that a little closer. Nope, nothing there. That's alright. Now it's complete. Nothing really worth it. There's some icy rings down on V7, but I can't imagine flying a T11 with a grade 2 fuel scoop. That sounds pretty painful. It wasn't terrible in the Sidewinder, but the Sidewinder also had, you know, like a 16-ton full fuel capacity. It might not have even had that. I can't remember what I stuck on there. I know I did put an extra tank on it. I've actually reconfigured it a little bit. I did in Colonia after Outlander was over, because I thought it might be more useful. Yeah, let's max that scoop out and see where I'm at. 878. So yeah, it doesn't... If I take the time to scoop properly, it's not bad. I'm just spoiled by the Caspian, because it just... You look at a star from, you know, 2 systems over, and it starts scooping fuel, it seems. And then it doesn't take anything to get it filled up. I'm gonna skip this one. It's just looking no meat on these bones. That's got a pretty good sized scoop in it. Yeah, I'm running a 6A scoop on it. Probably the most expensive thing on this ship. For what are they, 7 million to buy? Looking over the modules. Yeah, the fuel skip. This one has also been discovered. And is also nothing else here. Well, see, I'm saying that, but I just got done preaching about how it may not have been discovered all the way. That's alright, I need the exploration data anyways. I haven't hit Elite 5 yet. I haven't even hit Elite 2, although I am very close. I suspect when I get done with this leg, the next time I land on a carrier, I will probably roll over. Which is just fine with me. What I really want is Elite and Exo Bio, which just seems to be taking forever. I have probably earned that rank, but Elite doesn't seem to agree with my consensus. So are you exploring at the moment, Tranquila, or are you just sitting back relaxing? I know after I'm done streaming, I will probably throw the VR headset on and continue, and throw Delta's No Man's Sky stream up to watch, because I got to listen to it today, but I didn't really have time to watch more than about 20 minutes of it, and it sounded very entertaining, with losing things off the back of a truck an awful lot.
Frameshift drive charging.
Oh, you should. It's not too terribly difficult to hit the first elite rank in exploration. It's generally the first one people get is either elite and expo or trade. I would. That's what I'm talking about. I don't know if that came through the mic. I know for a fact I don't have it set to come through the stream when my headphones are doing what they're supposed to be doing. But ED Buddy was just telling me I'm the first one here. Elite 2 and trade. Yeah, that's easy. But no, I was thinking earlier today, because I like the look of the Kestrel. That's got me excited. Not enough to pay ARX for it, because I really feel like I've bought enough ships for ARX, and I feel a little guilty and dirty every time I do it. to the point that I pay credits for the ship and then go hide the ARX purchased one somewhere far, far away from wherever I'm at so that I don't have to see it in my shipyard list. But it got me thinking. And I'm thinking for Astrid, since I kind of am wanting to do a little bit more of a bounty hunter role with her later, maybe she needs to spend some time shooting pirates in an Eagle and grind up a good rank so that when the Kestrel drops for credits, I have a good excuse to buy it. Oh yeah, if you're already up to Pioneer, you will certainly hit Elite, at least the first one, if not Elite 1 before the end of the expedition. And if you don't, I mean, it's not like we're not going to turn around and take some carriers out in the black anyways. It will indeed happen. I'm only Elite 1 and change. Like I said, I'm real close to Elite 2. Percent of the way to my next ExoBio rank, which I have to imagine is Elite. Without looking, I've got to be just about there. I suppose I could look on Onara and see for sure, but that spoils the mystery. And we like the mystery. One bio, probably.
Biological signals found on IC body.
Probably not worth it. I'm gonna mute that for the time being. I don't need to hear it. Where are you at, exploration buddy? Right there. Be quiet. Thank you. I have been a geneticist, I think, for quite some time. Over there on BC4. But honestly, I'm itching to do some ExoBio tonight too, so I think we're going to go hunt that down. Let's see, BC, what'd I say, BC2? No, BC4. Are you my target? You are. Let's go see what we can find. Oh, good lord, 280,000 light seconds. Well, I'll for sure be the first one to find that one, because nobody out here has gone out to that trouble. Yeah, I am a geneticist. Oh, I'm like 40% of the way. Or 60. Something. Farther along than I thought. Real close to Elite 2. I can't remember what comes after competent in combat. It might be deadly. And trade Elite 3. Oh yeah, no, it's easy to do. Four Tectonicas and you're there. It happens so fast you don't even realize it. I've actually got a bit of expo data on board I need to sell when I get to a carrier. Is that a fuel star? Because if it is, I'm gonna SCO this. It's near a fuel star. Hell with it, we'll take a risk. Yeah, no, sometimes that's how it goes. I usually find a couple of them and then make up close to another 100 mil and other things. Oh, get a hold of yourself, cowboy. Ships. Which I'm genuinely annoyed about because I love so many of the Gen 1 ships. And they just, in a circumstance like this, it's just not going to cut it. My options are pulse the SCO drive until I overheat, or just burn it and let it overheat and synth up a bunch of heat sinks as I go, or sit here for 15 minutes. And I don't like any of those options. I just don't. we actually did a little bit of damage there. And 99% on sensors. We're fine.
Warning. Fusion drives broken beyond safety limits.
This really is quite the effort for what I am 99% certain is a bacterium. And probably not worth a ton.
Warning.
Oh, I better stop. I'm down to like 35, 40% fuel. I might just leave it. I'm trying to think, what SCO ships do I have available? I have the Caspian, which is terrible for exobiology, and I have a Cobra. I have a Cobra 5 that can do 60-ish light years if I swap things around. Let me peek at Coriolis here real quick. I can't remember what size frameshift drive it takes. I'm fairly certain it's a 4. It is a 4. That's unfortunate, because my top engineered one I have with me is a 5. I really should have just sucked it up and brought the Mandalay. Or, you know, anything that would have got the job done. I do love my Crate Phantom, but it has the exact same problem. I don't think it jitters around as much as the Asp does. The Asp is really unstable. One more.
Warning.
What could it hurt?
Drives broken beyond safety limits.
I mean, I am a fuel rat, right? I should be able to get myself out of this.
Warning. Taking heat damage.
I've been using a DBX for that purpose, and I am happy to explain the rationale. One, it's dirt cheap. It's what, $1.8 million brand new? I'm just gonna lock that in there. Let's go gander here. Well, I'm gonna go gander. I don't have a browser capture set up. Yeah, the Diamondback is 1.6 million credits. You can kit it out fairly easily and get close to 60 light years, even without engineering, or Guardian boosters. So in the beginning, it's a great get-around ship, and it takes a size 5 frameshift drive, which means if you do go to the trouble of engineering it, you've got the most common exploration-sized frameshift drive already kitted out, engineered for long range, if that's the way you choose to go. It also has medium hard points, so you could use it for core mining. I almost did that for the video I put together. It doesn't hold a ton, but it gets the job done. And it is possible to outfit a DBX decently for combat, so it's not terrible. And yeah, paying to move ships around, that's kind of what I've done. I will probably, if I need the Panther somewhere other than where it is at the moment, I will probably move it manually, just because it's so expensive to move. But I think I say expensive, it's a relative term, right? I think I spent $13 million to rip it out there where I was working from a HIP 867, so it's not awful. But I'm also at that point with that character still where 13 million's a decent chunk of change. Like, I don't want to give that up if I don't have to. Ah, yeah. The T11 is very cheap to move, that's true. I did not buy... Did I buy Astrids for ARCs? No, I didn't. She didn't have one until it dropped for credits, I don't think. No, I'm sure I didn't, because I've only put ARCs on that account once. And it was the other night, and I used it to buy cosmetics. Hey, while we're waiting, that's something I can do. I wanted to outfit some of those new cosmetics I got. Yeah, so I probably did buy it for credits then. I picked up the Intrepid set, since it was on sale, or the Reflect set, I guess, not the Intrepid. They were both on sale, though, so I guess it's a matter of preference. But I've wanted that since the Apollo 14 expedition, because we were all on the hunt for the Intrepid. I bought the wrong one. That's alright. They're both pretty retro looking. But we were trying to get together something period appropriate for an Apollo 14 themed expedition. And I should now have a whole bunch of gear to go on it too. I do, yeah. We'll do the blue stuff. Oh, I'm going to do this with a mouse. This is infuriating to do with a joystick. Not because it's hard, but just because you have to scroll all the way down. You can't just click exit. You have to make your way down there. Let's see. How much of my pants is this going to cover up? Not too bad. I think I can live with that. Yeah, well, that'll work. That's a good look for Murdoch. Given that he's, did that come with a suit? Given that he's out here on the hairy edge, you know. Separate suit to go with it. Let's do the blue one. I don't want to cover up the jacket or the pants. I like both of those right where they're at. That'll work. And we should be getting close to where we were going. Haha, there we go. If you are minutes of travel. Of course, I also burned a hell of a lot of fuel. And this ship is surprisingly fuel hungry for its size. I mean, I'm cruising along at 1.7 tons an hour. That seems high. But the DBX also sips fuel, and I've got that number stuck in my head. I guess the Caspian runs at like 2.23 or something. So I guess that's not terribly out of line. But yeah, I was debating. I'm gonna definitely leave Astrid B for the minute, because I've just done quite a bit of hauling, and it's not even the hauling itself, because I enjoy doing hauling runs. Although not necessarily in a Panther Clipper. Even in VR, that cockpit is very restrictive. But I do enjoy using a T9. Unfortunately, that means making almost double the trips to get the same thing done. So it's hard to justify. But that first colony port being time sensitive is really problematic sometimes. Oh, this is a dark planet. Yeah, I guess we are a pretty good bit from the sun here. Even the secondary sun. Oh, wow. Are those canyons? No, they can't be. They gotta be mountains. If those are canyons, I just found a white whale. Let's see, how far are we from that star? Which one did I want? C. Let's use the last T. Terrible. 4100 is not awful. I really want to play some time in Horizons, or not, like Legacy Horizons specifically. because I never played a lot. Like, I bought the game when Legacy Horizons was the actual version of the time, but it didn't stick, so I didn't play enough to get in and find any candy. Oh, you know what? It's a good call. I probably should scan it first. Oh, man. It's been a day. I'll tell you, the day after a holiday is not a great day for mailmen, or mail women, or mail carriers, or whatever you want to call us. It was a day of thick junk mail, and although I didn't have to deal with snow, so I guess I should count my blessings. 6 probes. I can probably do this in 5, because I've got grade 3 radius on this particular scanner. I need to engineer up another one.
Surface scanned by 50%.
I feel like there was an awful lot of overlap there. I mean, I don't really care if I get the bonus, because the payout from whatever I scan down there is going to well outweigh whatever the efficiency bonus would have been. But it is a pet peeve of mine. I haven't missed an efficiency bonus in a good long while. I also don't want to give up this asp because I've got all these bits and pieces stuck to it. I paid money for those, and I like the way they look. I would love to see some upgrades that at least, they don't have to be comparable to the new ships, but, you know, make it so SCO is tolerable in these ships at least. I wouldn't, strictly speaking, call it tolerable or usable. Alright. Where was I missing? The very back. Okay, there's the miss. Let's try... there-ish. Let's see where that gets us. I guess I've got 2 probes, so it's not the end of the world. I hear a dog upstairs making his voice known to the world. Ooh. I might actually miss this one. I think it's because I'm too close. Normally I don't get this close before I scan. Usually the minute I'm in scanning range I hit it. Because you don't have to, you know, scroll around as far. It's just easier to do. And I'm lazy when it comes right down to it. Oh, we got it. Surely we got it. Oh, that was close. I really didn't think I was going to there for a minute. Alright, I want to see... yeah, it looks like that's as good a place as any. A little to the left here. I'm pretty sure these are mountains.
Orbital flight engaged.
Well, maybe not mountains per se. Some variant of that's a great typo. I've been having a lot of those lately. I'm normally a pretty good person with a keyboard, but since I got into VR, it certainly makes it more interesting. I can touch type, it's just hard to reference an index on the keyboard. You know, those little nubs on the... really pretty subtle, so it's... maybe I need to, like, glue a googly eye to those 2 keys or something. That is some wild-looking terrain. Oh, wow. What is this? A planet with a brain. That's what that looks like. Looks like brain matter. It's for my bacteria, but I sure want to get a look at it. Oh. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. That's what I get for coming in without my my night vision on. Oh, that hurts. That stings. Oh, Delta will never let me live that down. Oh, and I lost the brandy. Oh God, no. I'm genuinely upset about that. That's what I get for not running shields. Oh. Let's see where it sticks me. The question is, how far back do I have to go to get more brandy? Yeah, well, at least it put me on the distant suns. Let's see. $64,004 light years on the nose. That's a long way to go for brandy. I don't think I'm going to go that far to get brandy. Just don't see it happening. Oh, that hurts my soul. Well, somebody had to die first. Might as well be me. I have never died in deep space before. That is a first for me. I have never smacked a planet. We're going to switch ships, because I just can't fly that one in good conscience anymore. Let's see. I need to pull some things off here. What happened is I came into that planet full throttle, failed to throttle down, and I was trying to get a good look at the canyons in natural light, so I didn't have night vision on. I had the headlamps on. I was waiting to get close enough for them to light up the ground, at which point it was too late. Yeah, I had it on to look, and then I turned it off to get a more natural view of it, which was a mistake. Mistakes were, in fact, made. Let's see. I don't think I need to pull anything else, do I? Got a couple of those here. I need that one back. Store that. I think I've got multiple rescue controllers too. Mama. And take the DBX. I can't even blame streaming on that. I would have done that if I was in VR. Because I was really quite interested to see what they look like. That did not work out well at all. Is that the right one? That is the right one. Oh, I put the 4Ds on the... I goofed. I really wish they would kind of address this and give us a better way to manage ship parts. At least locally. If I've got multiple ships in one location, it should... I want the option to install parts from another ship. Stop making me switch to another ship just to go pull the part I need. That's annoying. Supremely annoying. We'll leave the 5Ds on there, I guess. Pretty sure that's what they were for in the first place. Oh yeah, 100%. I didn't figure he was watching. He said he had the kids till they were in bed. Yep. That is the risk of not running shields right there. And I'm not a huge proponent of shields. I don't, like, I won't not leave home without them. But at the same time, like, if I'd had shields, I probably would have survived that. I don't feel like I hit that hard. Says the guy who blew up and respawned on the carrier. Maybe I'm wrong. but I don't think I hit that hard. Pretty sure with shields I'd have made it. Honestly, the difference between those is only 2 light years. That almost makes me want to run the A drives. Nope. You know what? The power consumption will probably rapidly become an... Well, no, because I've got Guardian plants on here. Found that drive. I think I told you already. I had thought for sure I'd sold my well-engineered 5A frameshift drive, and it was not sold. It was sitting right here installed on this ship exactly where I left it. So I am losing my mind. Yeah, 70 and 75. That's pretty good for this. If I were doing it again, I would not have done kinetic resistant shield. I would have done low power something shield. What is that option called? Enhanced low power. I did not realize this until recently. I was playing around in Coriolis. Enhanced low power engineering on a shield, grade 5, drops the mass by 50%. And then you can strip it down on top of that. I had a 3D shield that weighed, you know, in Coriolis, it was weighing like 1.5 tons. It was glorious. I think you could push a DBX up to 80 light years. Okay, I wasn't sure if I shared that tidbit or not. We need a surface scanner. And that is the one. I've got the pre-engineered one I got on the Caspian, and I'm just going to leave it there. Got a vehicle. Don't know for a fact that that will let me boost. Why are there... I stripped this down just a wee bit too much. And I'm not at all sure why I did it. I must have just been pulling parts when I was setting up that asp. I wasn't sure what I was going to need. Alrighty. Still can't believe I face planted into a planet. That is, quite frankly, embarrassing, in a word. To put it in a word. But what are you going to do? While I'm thinking about it, I've been wondering and hypothesizing for like 2 weeks now what size extra tank I slapped on this thing. I suppose while it's on my mind, it won't hurt to look. It is a C, so I've got an extra 64 tons of fuel on top of whatever the standard, yeah, so 128, 64, whew. That thing is apparently only carrying fuel. Oh well. Win some, lose some. I am gonna look real quick on Spanch and see, just for kicks and giggles, how far I would have to go to get Wharfie some more brandy. Where are we at? Let's see. E60. The Lave. A ridiculous route if ever one was plotted. Oh, yeah, I need a range for that, don't I? Your range, shopkeeper. range do they want? Do they want the max range? Yeah, it does appear so. Yeah, we'll let Spanch chew on that for a minute. No, Shock, I beat a planet into submission, or at least it beat me into submission somehow. Between the four of us out here, I was the first to crash on a planet, not Delta. So I just lost a little over 100 million in exobiodata. Data. And more importantly, Wharfie's brandy. I've been toting around 1 ton of Lavian brandy since we left. Actually, I need to look at my codex, because I need to know exactly how many light years I put on that brandy. Grab us a screenshot of that. I was roughly at 250,000 when I left. I'm at just under 400,000 now, so pretty good distance. But no, haven't beat the game. Just crashing into planets. That is apparently the way I'm going to do things. Is this routing me back to the system I was in? Yeah, I wish it were that easy. If I could just go back and get it, I would. I certainly would. Trying to find... Not sure what system I bought it in. I think that one right there. I've been there. It wasn't that one, because I was headed to a planet way out. Oh well, I guess I just pick a direction. Let's go farther. I want to be closer to 1,000 light years. Where'd all the stars go? Which way did he go, George? The game hates everybody. It's not just you. It hated me this evening. It cost me a ton of Lavian brandy. Am I just too high for stars? Like, what is happening here? Oh yeah, I probably was too high. What is going on? Like, I know there's stars here. They definitely could do that. If somebody is so inclined. You'd have to be an absolute nutter. Bear in mind, that's coming from a guy whose name is Howlin' Mad Murdoch. If he says it's crazy, it's pretty crazy. Well, I'm going to stick with that waypoint I got because I've completely lost the plot here. That planet derailed me pretty hard. It hasn't happened in a while. I am going to switch to economical routing, see if I can get more than 12 jumps out of that. Apparently not. Let's see what Spanch had to say. Could get back to Lave in 312 jumps. That's using the neutron plotter. just for giggles, because I don't have to import a bunch of weird data, I'm going to look at EDBuddy and see. Okay, where's this window at? It generates a window, and I've lost said window. Up there, up there. Oh, well, I'm not going to mess with it. 312 jumps is a long way to go for Brandy. I don't think I'm quite that dedicated. If somebody wants to haul it in, I'll take it. I will certainly pick it up. Whoa. One direction at a time, please. Speaking of noise, I'll bet these headphones have got some life in them now. Outstanding. And it sounds like everything switched over as expected. The one thing that is apparently working right this evening, I'll take it. Let's see how bad this route looks. Honestly, this route doesn't look bad. Only 3 of the 12 systems are discovered. And that's counting the one I'm sitting in, so I'll take it. Nah, you gotta get into it, Chuck, I'm telling you. Once you beat the key mapping and everything into submission, it's a lot of fun. That curve is rough, though. The new player learning curve is really kind of a barrier. And I don't know that I have a solution to fix that either. Like, I'll happily gripe about it, but I don't at all have a solution at hand. Let's see what we find here. Oh, come on now. One of these days, I'm going to break down and replace this throttle, because it is really bad about ghosting inputs, and the most annoying among them is changing fire groups on me when I don't expect it. Well, no Earthlikes here. Looks like only ice worlds. That's okay. I'm the first one here. If I find biology, I'm going to go get it. I don't care what it is. Because it's not hauling titanium in a Panther Clipper. And that is basically all I did the last 2 nights in game. So I'm kind of over that. And I'm ready for mining. Could do some mining or some bounty hunting. I could get on board with those ideas. I do have it on fastest routes right now. It wouldn't calculate an economical route. Honestly, I'll probably try again here in a minute. Sometimes that, when you're out here and the star density is a little lower, sometimes the galaxy plotter just doesn't act right. It's somewhat annoying, but it can be dealt with. Best case scenario is just try swapping the mode and recalculating every jump until it finally decides it's able to do what you're asking it to. B3 is an icy body with thin neon and 1 biological signal. I'm going to have to go back and pull the stream later and see exactly what system I died in, because, damn it, I'm going back and getting that bacterium. It cost me an awful lot. I'm going to go get it. Probably in the Caspian, because I'm not going through that whole... Oh, come on. No, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. More than happy to sit there and stare at a Super Cruise screen myself, but I'm not going to do that on stream. That would be incredibly boring. I'm just going to go get the Caspian. That is a much more sensible course of action. Holy crap, I was just looking at Elite Dangerous Exploration Buddy, and the system the carrier is sitting in has over 100 bodies in it. I hadn't even scanned it. Yeah, 114 bodies apparently. Get out of Dodge. Holy smokes! Wow! I've never seen that many bodies in a system. I have to look just for giggles. How many slots would that... If you could colonize it, which you... I mean, I guess you could if you were willing to work. Oh, it can't even calculate it. I'd probably have to scan the system to get all the possible sites. It's probably not that high, honestly. There's a lot of 2s and 1s in there. Still, imagine how long it would take to build that out. And I'm not seeing them all. There's not 114 on the screen. That's just what was in scanner range, I think. Wow. The more you know, the more terrifying it becomes. Oh, that's not hard to read at all. The numbers I was just looking at, those are colonization slots. So if we go back in, and I'm putting an awful lot of faith in Super Cruise, but I have nothing to lose now. If I smash into Distant Suns, oh well. So you're talking these numbers here. So that is indicating how many planetary ports that planet will support. And these ones off to the side are the orbital slots. So like this planet has 0 orbital slots, but you can put 6 settlements on it. And it works a little different when you're deploying planetaries for colonization. Yeah. Actually, I can demonstrate that. I think I can demonstrate that, even from way out here. If I go look at my colonies up in... Maybe. Maybe not. Oh, I know what I need to do. Give me this, give me that. I do want to focus. Okay, we'll try this a different way since you want to be like that. There we go. So this is, when we did the original Delta Quadrant, this was the system I chose. And I've got a asteroid base and some other stuff here. But to do orbital sites, because you see I've claimed it, and these are green circles now, so I can select one of these and pick a construction I want to do. I can do a starport. It depends on how many points you have. I have 1 tier 3 point. I believe I need 3 to do a tier 3 system. So I would need to build a few more outposts to gain the points to build something bigger at this point. Partly because I just did a big tier 2. I've got the asteroid base in there I just finished up. But you pick a selection. Let's see, I'm not going to go all the way through this. See what it would do to the system first. But you select what you want to build. After you've picked the slot, it'll tell you, you know, some of the basic stats, kind of what it's going to do overall to your system's economy. And then it'll tell you how much of the materials you need to haul in to build that. And that's how you do it for orbital stations. Surface stations are a little different. I can't show that, but you have to fly down to the planet, All ships now have the System Colonization Suite. You've probably noticed it in your fire groups. There is shock, but not the way you're thinking. You basically fly down, pick a location, switch to that marker, and it like gives you an overlay, and then you point and click where you want the space to be, and it'll poof in a construction settlement, and then you deliver supplies to it until it becomes a base. But that's what the numbers are. So like 1 orbital, 2 planetary slots, 1 orbital, 7 planetary spots, that kind of thing. Honestly, I probably won't do a bunch more work up here. This other one was one of the ones we chained through to get out here. It's just, it does not like to do that from the map, I guess. Probably because I'm 65,000 light years away. Yeah, so we were going for this nebula right here. And from some of our systems, mine included, it looks like a delta. Let me get rid of these stars and make it a little easier to see here. Yeah, so it's kind of delta-shaped. And we came from the bubbles, so it was a ways out. You know, we had to... what shows the bubble? Power play shows the bubble really well. Yeah, so we came all stations, and that's what this particular system is. We came in, I built a single outpost when I claimed it, and we used it as a springboard. Because you need an outpost or something that you can land on that has the system colonization contact to pick your next system. So that's how people chain out. They'll build one very small thing and use it as a springboard and move on. Oh, that's cool. My architect tag updated to go with my name. I wasn't sure that was going to happen. I know some discoveries, when you change your name, you don't get to keep your discoveries. I mean, you do, but you don't. Let's see. What is something I discovered? I know I have something under systems. Or way to manage these. Okay, I've definitely got a discovery in this system, because it was the monument system for Apollo 14. Which was a really neat concept. So when we went out and did that expedition, we picked this system and decided that this system was going to be the memorial system. And everyone came out, like we had the rule was you came in and you either took a first mapped or a first footfall. I don't even remember. I guess some people doubled up. Which makes sense, I guess, because we had more options than we did people. So I guess filling out the system so other people couldn't get in there and fill it up with theirs makes sense. I don't remember what I scanned. I think I took a footfall. Must have been on this chain of planets here. But it should still show Halon Mad Murdoch. Yep, I mapped it. So when you change your name, you don't get to keep... well, you get to keep your tags instead of them updating. So that will forever be discovered by a commander that no longer exists, which is actually kind of cool when you think about it. But I am happy to see that the architect tag updates. That's nice. All that long-windedness to say that's what the numbers mean. When I get down on the weeds, I get down on the weeds. No problem. Always happy to explain. Provided I know what I'm talking about. which isn't always the case. And you could end up with something like the Voxels paper, where you get more than you ever wanted to know about a Voxel.
Your landing gear is retracted. Landing gear deployed.
I just can't fly tonight, folks. Oh, I'm really thinking about repainting this thing. What do you guys think? Think I ought to repaint it? It's looking pretty sad. Yeah, let's get it in some light here. Oh, it's rough. I actually had the landing gear. What do you think? Think we ought to give her a fresh coat? That's pretty sorry looking paint job. I don't know how many light years she's got on her, but quite a few at this point. I have done a lot of hard running in it. If I do repaint it, I'll probably repaint it with the Midnight Black theme. And where the ID is the only thing that was black. That and the center portion. The rest of the things that's... I guess you can... Welcome in Christopher Garcia. I have got way more hours in it than I care to admit. It didn't stick for me the first time, though. I bought it, I played maybe 30 hours, really struggled with the new player learning curve and lost patience with it and moved on to do other things. And then I came back and I had a lot of fun the second time around. I went out, I did a big long expedition, about downhill from there. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to keep the paint job and I'm just going to repaint the paint job. Whew, $280,000. Okay, most of that's in repairs. I was going to say, how much does that paint cost? 110 credits. On the bright side, that is the worst it can look, because it is 0%. Alright. Let's get back to the actual surveying. In fact, I think what I'm going to do, because I'm feeling a little aimless here, I think I'm going to do a voxel survey. Or at least start one. That's what we're going to do. So you guys can't see it, but I've got Elite Dangerous General Processor running on the side here. It's giving me some overlay information, and the bigger reason I run it is because it's converting my screenshots. But it also lets me do voxel surveys. So let's find something in the neighborhood here that loosely fits what we're looking for. Let's go back to Pilots Fed. Give me K, F, and G star. Be in the mass codes I want. There's one right there. I would like a D mass code. So, voxel survey. Can I use targeted system? I can't. Well, that's stupid. I'll fly over there. What's it going to cost me? One jump? Oh, yeah, too close to do that. Thank you for playing. Try again later. Yeah, I love voxel surveying. It's nice because it kind of removes the where do I go aspect of exploring. If you're in an area and you just want to find things, you don't necessarily have to plot to go somewhere in particular. And voxel surveys are a great way to get around that, because you just say, I want to look at this subset of system. I want to look at this particular voxel, and then use a program to just pop around in it and that sorts out the where are we going. Alright, Shock. Thanks for hanging. Yeah, I wasted the brandy. That makes me sad. I may get a wild hair and jump all the way back to Lave and acquire another ton. Oh god, I hope they give us a small one. I really do. I love my small explorers. I'm a big fan of the DBX. And I would love to have one with SCO capability, but I don't think we're going to get it. If we get it this year, it's going to be late in the year. Because there are a lot of holes in the new ships that still need to be filled. We've already gotten 2 explorers, right? We've gotten the Mandalay, which is a medium explorer. We've gotten the Caspian, which is a large explorer. And honestly, most of the newer ships are, generally speaking, pretty solid exploration ships. Like, you can get a great jump range out of almost any of them. And let's survey. Let's see. Hang on, I gotta think here. I'm in the D mass code. That's not what I wanted. Yeah, you know what? It doesn't matter. I don't need to go more than 1 layer deep. Let's go to the beginning. We'll ignore systems I've already visited. Let's go. So, there's going to be our first system. 8 whole light years away. Well, it's not that they're missing. Like, we've got at least 1 new combat ship. We've got a couple of multi-role ships. We've got some haulers. We've got the first miner ever, like, dedicated mining ship. The T-11 is the only ship in that role. We know we're getting... So they've announced we're getting 5 ships this year. We know for a fact we're getting the Kestrel soon. That's going to be number 1. That's a small combat ship. We know the second ship to be released is going to go to operations. So that only leaves 3. I just don't see them giving us another Explorer. I mean, we just got the Caspian. I think if we ever get a small Explorer with stabilized SCO technology in it, it's probably going to be at the very end of this year. Like, maybe that's ship number 5 or into next year, as much as I hate to say that. It might have been 6. I only watched the video once so far. I've been slacking. I spent most of last night watching Delta stream, and I kind of crashed after that.
System scan complete.
2 bodies. That's disgraceful. It's the risk you run, though. Sometimes Boxel survey doesn't always pan out right away. And now I shouldn't have to do anything but come in here and paste, because it should have already copied my next system, and it did. Only it can't find it. Sometimes that happens. That's not what I wanted. Gotta tell it I'm editing first. 13.0, D13.2. There has to be a D13.1. That much I'm confident of. It is always at least that sequential. That's interesting. It says I'm already in D13.1. Okay, it is 6 ships. Maybe we get it. I mean, I'm not gonna gripe if we do, that's for certain. Oh, I know what's happening here. I'm gonna change. We're going to tweak this here voxel survey just a touch. I don't want to jump to 7. I want to do beginning. And don't try to skip anything. I will decide if I'm skipping. There we go. So we've been to 1, 2, 3. We're going to 3. Alright, got that sorted out. 2 in the summer, 1 in autumn, 1 in winter. I am going to hold out false hope that we get another explorer. Because I would really like to see a small explorer, and I certainly think there are enough people out there who want one that it's justifiable to put the dev time in to design another ship for it. Although, I would settle, honest to God, if they just came out and said, hey, you know, here is a pre-engineered SCO stable drive that you can fit in the DBX. I would take that. As far as what's needed, we could use some more small entry cargo haulers. We honestly don't have many of those. I see probably at least one more small combat ship, though. And I say that because they specifically made mention when they debuted the Kestrel that they were trying to shift players back away from things like the Corvette and, you know, those big, meaty combat ships. So it would make sense for them to give us more than one option. If they want players to go for newer, smaller combat ships, then, you know, we don't want everyone flying around in a Kestrel. That's boring. So I can see us getting at least one more small combat ship to go with the Kestrel. As to what quarter that maybe falls in the year, I have no idea. It's anybody's guess. Historically, though, they have not done back-to-back releases of anything similar. Hey, Waterworld! We will need to go map that. No biology. That makes me sad. Don't make me sad. Although there is a terraformable high metal content. So maybe there's hope.
System scan complete.
There's only one. That's almost guaranteed to be bacteria. Let's see. I want the biology, and I want to map both of the terraformables. Hey, remember that time I said when I landed on the carrier next, I was going to make Elite 2 an exploration? Yep, see, I was wrong about that, as it turns out. Very, very wrong about that. Oh, now I have to land this beast on a planet. It's honestly not that bad. It's, I will say it is easier to find a spot, I think, in VR than it is on flat screen, but I'll make it work. And peek under the headset or have it pinned up, and I said, let's do something easy tonight. And this is what I landed on. Easy being relative, because if it were easy, I wouldn't have crashed the Asp into a planet and caused my untimely demise. Yeah, I'm hoping the next time I land I'm Elite, but it probably won't be the next time either, because after I'm done streaming I'll probably switch out of the Caspian. I don't mind the Caspian, I don't want to fly it right now, but I also don't want to 20 minutes in Super Cruise. I don't mind doing that on my own time. I just don't want to do it on stream, and since I left the Mandalay at home, this is the only option. Actually, now that I think about it, I might have pulled the Mandalay. It might be in transit right now. I will check later.
Surface scan at 50%.
I pulled something.
Surface scan complete.
A couple of million. Pulling something up here. It's going to take 181 hours, though, so I'm not going to see it this week. Maybe next week. Honestly, it might have been the Mandalay. I may very well have pulled it up here for exactly this problem. Because this thing is kind of picky to land. I wish that would just automatically deactivate. But with Super Cruise Assist on, it deactivates Super Cruise Assist. Because I very consistently forget it, and then it tries to jerk me into orbit when I'm trying to land.
Engaged.
That's a little steep. Let's back off of that. Yeah, what's my gravity here? 0.44 on the surface. I can live with that. I hope I can live with that. Last time I saw this screen, it didn't work. Now, so assuming we get 2 small combat ships, and whatever the ship is that's related to operations, that's half the year ships. I'm honestly curious. I don't know what they would do for another small explorer. I am wondering, because I'm fairly confident that we're going to get 2 fighters. I would like to see the other one be 1984, I don't think. It might have been in one of the other earlier Elite games, but I can't recall. I didn't play anything before Elite Dangerous, so I'm not as well versed on, like, the original, and can't remember what the other one is. Andy played one of the other early ones. Yeah, they could do a DBX Mark II. I would buy that too. A what for? A what for what? Did I say something with a 4? I've got the memory of a goldfish. Oh, I'm going to warn you now. I can't recall what I had for breakfast. Oh, the ship. A Saker. If you've read... Which one is it? Novels. They make a lot of references to it. It was actually a small fighter in one of the early games, like, and I'm fairly certain it was a small ship because it's frequently compared to a Sidewinder. But they had a pretty cool look. I suppose I could fix... Oh, let's not crash into the planet while we do that. Let's see... Do some on-the-fly adjustments here. Me a new scene. Let's move this. Add window capture. Do that. Give me that. Very good, very good. And what else do I need? Audio input capture. There we go. Alright, so I transition over. This is what the Saker is, kind of a dart looking thing. These ones here. That's a pretty neat rendering from the Frontier forums. I think that could be a possibility. It actually looks larger in that than it does as far as the way it's described in the books. Maybe it's a medium. I don't know, I could be wrong. The novelizations as being a small ship. But that does not mean I'm correct. I'm frequently wrong, as we learned. Alright, there's bacteria on this rock, and I want it. What is this? Is that just terrain? Almost. That is just terrain. How about that? Do the old nose down looking for stuff. There's some right there. Yes, he absolutely will. I have never been a fan. I've tried it. People think I'm joking. I have bought and sold at least 6 Anacondas. Like, bought them, A-rated them, started engineering them, and I've tried to fit one out for combat, I tried to fit one out for mining. I just don't like the ship. I've learned over time, it's just not for me. And this is the problem with the Caspian. See if the landing computer has any better luck than me. Although, I doubt it.
Landing gear retracted. Landing gear deployed.
I don't know that we're going to get another large ship anytime soon. We've kind of been spoiled with large ships, right? Because we've just got the Caspian, we've got the Panther, and those fill arguably the 2 most important large ship roles outside of large combat. I do think we might see a large combat ship this year. Oh, hey! There is life in Syracuse. Oh, nope. Right there. Come on. Nope. Take it down. Just land it. It says it'll land. That is the problem. It'll lie to you. I've only ever had this problem in the Caspian. Okay. Yeah, we made it. I've never had such a struggle landing a large ship. Because it'll identify a spot, it'll tell you, yeah, we can land there. But then you go to do it and like half landing spot anymore. It's definitely a problem. Given that, I think we're going to find all this bacteria from the ground, which is less than ideal.
Drive assist on. Drive assist off.
Oh, come on. Why do you always forget this one setting? I'm forever arguing. I want that on by default. Throttle. Okay, everything else should be correct. There we go. That's all I wanted. I just want to be able to set a nice, comfy pace. Don't have to go flying. I'm not Delta. I don't, well, I was going to say I don't, but not while I'm exploring. That's not the time for that. That is not at all the time to be taking the risks. Let's see. All that ground is trippy. It's sparkly. I've lost my bacteria spot in the landing kerfuffle. I have a unnecessarily hard landing. Oh, I'm missing that VR ability right now. So much easier when all you have to do is turn your head to look around while you're up there. I don't feel like I flew that far from where I spotted that bacteria. It's got to be around here somewhere. I did try more or less to fly straight out from where I found it. But I was trying to land over there, and auto land brought me over here. Start with a vantage point, that makes good sense. this is going to be impossible to see. For those of you who don't know this trick, this is how you find things in an SRV. Driving around, trying to see bacteria in particular at ground level is, in fact, madness. Don't do it. It's not worth sanity. I might have to resort to the identifier scan. I don't see it. I feel like it was really plain when I was up in the ship, unless I was mistaken. Oh, nope, there it is. Right over there. Be real cool if I could get a heading from the camera mode. That's what? 2 o'clock-ish? Whoa! Maybe not like a bat out of hell this time. Yeah, just ease into it. What is your problem? Why do I have an SRV with attitude? Has Hal taken over? Finding the next one is going to be difficult. Low res, that's no good. OBS doesn't say I'm losing any frames. Doesn't always mean anything, though. YouTube's telling me it's excellent. On the stream health, anyways. For whatever that's worth. Alright, it was somewhere back in here. At least it seemed that way. Is that it? Oh, I fear I have gone chasing a red herring. Wouldn't be the first time. Definitely won't be the last time. Exit rover.
Drive assist off.
Okay, I'm not crazy. At least not all the way. Man, that 0.4 gravity is a lot stiffer than it feels like. Oh, that is awful. Look at the color of that. I'm never going to find all 3 of these. If I scan that and it's a Tila, I'm going to be mad. Oh, son of a biscuit. I should have just walked away. I should have just walked away. I don't suppose fate would smile on me and show me another one. That'd be way too easy. We can't have that. We don't do easy at Murdoch's place. Not even a little. This is why me and Delta get along right here, because we both have to do it the hard way. I also wish we used up our oxygen. I don't know if anybody else has noticed this. We did like a 5K race on Apollo 14. And I mean, I went through a couple of energy cells recharging my battery, but I never, ever saw that oxygen drop. That annoys me. I know in Empyrean, it was a lot more challenging. And I mean, I'm not really playing that game anymore these days. But you had to manage food, you had to manage... Hey, there's one. You had to manage your oxygen on planets that didn't have an atmosphere. It's about, what, 9 o'clock? Try that away. Yeah, I think it's on that foothill right there. I mean, to be fair, how often are you planet-side, outside of your rover and your ship for long enough for the oxygen to matter? Maybe not enough for it to be worth putting the mechanic in. That said, I've definitely gone around on foot, just taking a stroll. You know, I landed on a planet on the way out to Rendezvous Point, and I walked around and collected 3 different bios altogether, so 9 samples. And I never went back to the ship. I got out of the rover, started walking, and just never saw fit to get back in it. Exit rover. I am doing that with voice attack. I don't believe I piped that audio through. And the reason for that is because I also use ED Copilot, and I need keybinds to make the mapping work. And I also want those keybinds on my joystick, which means I don't have the option of also having them on a gamepad controller. It is a minor annoyance, but I've worked around it. I just use voice attack and keyboard to get in or get out of the rover and to get the rover docked back on the ship. I figure those are 2 very small sacrifices to make to get Copilot working correctly most of the time. I don't know what's been going on with ED Copilot. It's been really jittery for me lately, and I don't know if it's a me issue or a machine issue. I think I reinstalled it. It just doesn't seem to be very stable. It'll fire up and run perfectly fine for 10, 11, 12 hours sometimes, and other times it locks up, 5 minutes after launching, which is really irritating. I mean, I don't use it a ton out here exploring. There's other tools I would prefer to use. ED Exploration Buddy, Elite Observatory and its various plugins, things like that. But in the bubble, Copilot is really useful. I don't have to pop over to Inara to find what I'm looking for. I'll grab a drink here real quick. I have been talking an awful lot. Gonna work. Some here pretty close, but they're probably too close. There's the rover. There's the rover. That one's definitely too close. Maybe that one? That one might be far enough away. It looks like it's dead out at 9 o'clock. We'll try it. What's the worst that happens? I get over there and it's... Whoa. Get over there and it's not far enough and I have to move some more. But yeah, I certainly wish that Copilot would sort itself out, because I really enjoy that tool when it's working correctly. And I don't expect the voice recognition and stuff to get it 100% of the time. I mean, that's all routed through voice attack, so that's not even... I feel like it should be a little more stable. And that may very well be a me issue. I have not seen... Oof. I haven't seen anything on the Discord for it where other people are complaining about stability, so I suspect it is a me problem. Well, that's the range we needed to get out of. So let's see if we can find something out here in front of us now. Or reasonably close, within a few degrees here. Bingo. I'm going to call it 10:30. I really need to remember to take the handbrake off and then throttle up. Because not doing so is what is throwing me for a loop here. Oh, it's right around here somewhere, wasn't it? Over the next rise. Okay, we just highlighted on it. Did I drive right over it? Exit rover.
Drive assist off.
If it was a snake, it would have bit me. Story of my life. It really does blend right into the terrain. It's really hard to see this one. But we're done. Whew. That was worth 9.7 million. I believe that is with the turn-in bonus, though. I'm not 100% sure what Exploration Buddy is showing me. I think it's showing me with the first footfall bonus, though. Which I don't remember getting. Did I actually get the first football bonus? I guess that's something that I should have checked. Okay, what's happening? Oh, the rover is not mapped to the joystick. That's what's happening. Oh, man. There we go. Struggle Bus Express. It is the total. Okay, I thought so. I didn't get first football. Now, see, that annoys me. I guess it really shouldn't. I should have looked. And I hope he, you know, found the bacteria. Because otherwise, all he did was rob me of credits. If you're not going to go seek out the biology, don't take first. You know, bacteria is a pain to find, doesn't matter. It's always a low payout, at least comparatively to almost every other biology you can go after. God knows I skip plenty of them, but I don't land and jump out of my ship just for giggles. Get a little flying practice in. Not sure when I'm going to do my next race, but you never know. You got to keep the skills sharp. Ooh, didn't think I was going to clear that mountain. Honestly, that was a really good run. Up until the landing. Outside the rough landing, that was a pretty good run. Admittedly, pretty smooth terrain, so not necessarily a challenge either. And before I forget, I'm going to go ahead and repair this thing. be shitting me. Oh, man. This is the textbook definition of a comedy of errors. Absolute show of mediocrity I am putting on this evening. Doc Rover. I mean, if I'm gonna go full Delta for a night, I may as well do it right. Who needs a fully repaired rover? Alright. Was there anything else of interest here? No, I don't believe there was. So, let's go ahead to the next voxel system. I love it when things just work. And it's not that these are hard to manually plot without, using something like Journal Processor. It's just more tedious. It's so much easier just to paste it in there and go. Some of it is having my attention on other things. I mean, when I'm in Discord playing and I suddenly need to stop talking and focus, I don't feel guilty about doing that. It's a little harder to do when you're streaming. That's why I know Delta really appreciates it when we're in Discord chat and there's, one or two of us talking to him while he's streaming, because it gives him a break, right? And it's not up. I have some pauses and stuff, and, maybe I'll get focused on something for 10 or 15 seconds, but by and large, if there's dead air, it's my responsibility. And it is nice when you've got some other people chatting with you to kind of help cut that out. Also gives the viewers a little variety, but yeah, we'll call it nerves. I mean, I haven't streamed in 6 years. This one should be markedly less seasick, though. I really need to figure out how to stabilize the VR output, because I really enjoy playing in VR, and I certainly don't want to give up all my VR time to stream. And I know part of it is the binocular effect in the headset. I realized as I was watching back the other stream. Because I have to look, when I'm in VR, if I want to see the fuel gauge, if I'm looking dead ahead, I can't really see it. I've got to look over about that far. What is being captured and streamed through the Oculus Mirror shows exactly what you're seeing now, for the most part. The viewers can already see what I have to turn my head to see. And it causes what appears to be a lot of extra movement. And I don't know that there's a good fix for that. I mean, I could get the glasses lens, the prescription inserts, so I don't have to wear my glasses. That way I could step the eye relief in and I would have a better field of view in the headset, but really either. Did I not target this system? Am I losing my marbles? I targeted it. I just didn't route to it. What do you mean route unavailable? Oh, that's my current location. Maybe I didn't. I swear I did this already. You know what happened? I targeted it. And then the joystick gremlins untargeted it. And because I didn't route to it, I couldn't just click it back in place. That is 100% what happened. Happens an awful lot to me. I do need to look at and do some more research on what parameters they're looking for in Earth 2.0. They've made reference to it in the Discord, but I was not able to find anywhere exactly what they wanted. I assume we're trying to get it as much like Earth as we know it, so, distance to star, planet diameter, things like, match the orbit distance and diameter of the moon body and things like that. But I can't seem to find that data. Maybe it's up on the website. I haven't looked there. I did see the submission form. It's a Google Docs form. that basically you plug the system name into and it takes it from there, because what they're doing is they're actually pulling all that data from EDSN. So I get instantaneous results. When we find something, we're going to have to wait a day or two. EDSN, even if you're running Market Connector and stuff, is notorious. It takes a day or two for its data to catch up to what you've submitted to it. Kind of like an ARA. If you enable reporting to an ARA, you may notice when you buy a new ship, if you go look at your commander, it doesn't immediately show up. Or if you sell one, it's still going to show up as yours for a day or two sometimes. But as long as you've turned in the data and gotten the credit for the first discovery, none of that should really matter. And I assume there'll be, like if there's a closing date on the event, I'm sure they'll use what date it was reported or recorded on rather than what date you submitted it on. Either way, I've really been looking forward to this event. This is my flavor of exploration. I don't hog out getting it done if there's a purpose to it, but it's really the first couple of weeks of the Expeditioneer felt like a jump grind to nowhere. And I mean, we've seen cool things. I've got some really nice screenshots out of it so far. But I would very much like the pace to have been slower. But I didn't organize it. Fairly certain I'm going to some squad related. Was that that was Footfall already, right? Maybe? A6. I'll need to remember to look at that. If it's not, I'll go grab that bacteria. I'm okay with it. Well, I'll grab it if it's not the same coloration as the last one. That was a nightmare. Yeah, it was fast alright. It was cruising. And to be fair, my expectation, the only other one I've ever done, and a great experience. I very much enjoyed it, but our waypoints were way closer together. I mean, we did a lot less travel, too. I will say that. What am I missing? One more? There. One biology, one terraformable. Reasonably close this time. Oh, you know what? I forgot to map the terraformables in that other system. That's okay. Yeah, for context, as best I can anyways, for Apollo 14, we left out of the bubble, and our first waypoint was over here somewhere. And then we zigged up past Colonia. We didn't stop in Colonia. We kind of came up this way into the middle. And then we came over here. We just kind of wrapped around the core. About like that. And ended in Colonia. It was like 56,000 light years total. And we did it over roughly the same time period we've done Distant Worlds. So we've already covered more distance on this expedition entirety. It was a lot of trucking butt. Oh, I wanted to check that for Footfall first before I even go over there. A6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's been footfalled. I ain't gonna mess with it. I want biology, but not for the sake of biology. That doesn't make a lot of sense. This system has been discovered and reported, but it's missing bodies, so let's fill out that data. This is part of the reason I want to do a voxel survey. You can actually see them on the interactive ED Astro map. And once again, I forgot the terraformable. That's alright. There's 2 in this system. We'll grab those. Really not making a lot of headway here towards my Exploration Elite 2 rank. Not at all. And I'm about to make less, because I'm gonna show something here. So, for those who haven't been, this is ED Astro, which is a really neat website. They provide a lot of strange metrics on the Galaxy. Fun tool to use. You can zoom in, you can look around, but you can see where people have gone in and done sector surveys. That's a sector survey. You get that perfect grid where they've done the H-voxel at least. Probably a lot more. And if you look around, you can see there's a couple of them. Like this one here, they probably did some lower level voxel nesteds, and that's why you get a little more density there. I noticed that just the other day. I hadn't noticed it before. It doesn't look like, well, maybe Distant Worlds is showing up. I don't know what this is. That could be Rendezvous Point. That seems like it's in the right neighborhood. And of course there's art, which I can't even begin to comprehend. The level of autism needed to do this. I really can't. Like, how do you... I guess your position in the plane doesn't matter, so you would just have to sketch up what you wanted and then figure out how to plot a route. But some of these are pretty good. And, you know, people have gone in and drawn things through their travel, you know, hotspotting through the travel system to make it show up. Then, you know, people come in after him and he's looking up at that little galaxy. It's just funny. Obviously, there's some inappropriate things on there, too, where people have drawn things that don't necessarily belong in Elite, but you'll have that in any crowd. What did we need? We're missing planets. Supposedly. ED Buddy's telling me 16 of 16 bodies. So maybe they just haven't been reported correctly. Hard to tell. Not. Why? I certainly should. I had it open last night. I haven't restarted the machine. I think I've just accidentally keep closing it. I don't know. That's one of those programs I can literally have open for weeks on end and forget about it. Yeah, art is a loose term, but still, I mean, at the scale they had to think about it to get that to show up right, that's fairly impressive. I mean, it's simple, but it's impressive. It's on the order of, you know, people that do really elaborate, like, cornfield art and stuff. I've never understood that. I mean, I grew up around farms and on farms. Because once you're 4 feet in a cornfield, you can't tell where the edge is or what direction you're facing. It's just, everywhere you look, it's nothing but corn taller than you are. I give them points for creativity, certainly. Of all the ways in the world to make art, drawing art through travel on the heat map of a third-party tool of a niche space simulation game is oddly specific. I hate it when this thing moves on you. Anybody else ever have that, where you're just like sitting still, and I'm sure it has to do with the ship still... I mean, even at idle and Super Cruise, you're moving, what is it, 30 kilometers a second or something? But every now and then I'll be in here scanning around, and this thing's just moving all over the place on me. Usually when I'm closer to the star than I probably should be, like I am right now. Oh, is it? I am not very well cultured, I will admit that. I mean, I'm cultured in the way that older people think of cultured, not in current meme culture for certain. Kick out of it because my mother, who is pushing 60 at this point in her life, will call me up and go, "Hey, did you see?" Knowing damn well I haven't seen it, whatever it is. Could be a news article, could be a goofy picture she found on Twitter, doesn't matter. I haven't seen it. I carry mail, I play with my dog, and I play Elite Dangerous. Those are the three things that occupy my time. Hey, there's two biologicals. It's in fact a stratum. That's the way that works. So, I don't even care that it's footfall. That's still 20 million. I'll take it. I would have preferred 100, but I'll take 20. Oh, there's a cat that goes with it? Oh, good lord. Probably. I'll give you something to hunt for later. Always happy to introduce somebody to a side quest they didn't know they needed to undertake. Well, that's all the modern, culture, isn't it? It's like that stupid 6-7 thing. Most of it, like, I remember when memes had a source, a point of origin, something that made it funny. What is love? Set to the guys in the car banging their heads. We all knew where that came from. We all knew what it was. We all knew why it was funny. Nobody had to explain it. What has happened to the culture that we lost that somewhere along the way? Or maybe I really am just truly and honestly getting old and I'm out of touch with whatever segment of society it is that comes up with these things. Well, I about did it again. Let's give that a scan before we go diving in there. It says 6. I can sure get it 4 in the Caspian. This thing's got that monster scanner on it. They remove the cat and replace it with something. See? I don't understand that. I'm sure somebody can explain it. Wow, I would have gotten that in 2 probes. Just a wee bit OP. You might be older than me. It's not that terribly difficult. I am coming up on 38. But the gray hair is misleading. The oldest I've ever gotten was late 50s, and I about fell over because I am nowhere near that old. And beard color, but nowhere else. I was genuinely insulted, and usually I'm a pretty good sport about that. Worst part of it isn't necessarily age either. I don't care to be socially aware. That's cool. That's cool as hell, though, to be honest. I love finding older people to play this game. I know Andy's quite a bit. I think he's in his 50s. And, like I said, JBL, some of the guys that went on that last expedition with me, they were in their 50s and 60s. And I thought it was just cool as hell that they were not only playing a game, but one that is this, niche and involved and kind of technical. That tickled my heart in all the right ways. Oh, it just occurs to me, I was looking at the bacterium filter when I landed. Luckily, usually, stratum is in the same place. I guess I can cruise around here. Yep, that's gotta be stratum. Or the brightest bacteria I've ever seen. Holy shit, that is bacteria. See, why couldn't the other one be like that? That's so much easier. Of course, I'm not seeing the stratum here. Hey, Delta Creator. Thanks for stopping in, even if you are just popping in. I'm not seeing any stratum. I don't think I picked the right spot. I may very well land and get this bacteria while I'm over here. I hate to do that, because I know it's going to be a fight to land. I'd rather get it and the stratum in the same go. Now watch, I'll pop up into Super Cruise and it'll be impossible to find bacteria. It won't be nearly as well clustered on the other spot. So what do you think of the No Man's Sky update, Delta Creator? I was mostly listening during Delta's stream earlier. I was still hauling mail, so I just kind of had him in my earbuds listening in. I only got to actually watch about 15 minutes of the stream, so I didn't get to see anybody's chat for the most part. It sounds like they've fixed some of the major pain points that everyone was having with bugs and things falling through the world and stuff like that, which that's always frustrating. Oh, I'll bet. Sounded like Delta was hitting it pretty hard today, and did he actually make it? I was walking into the station wrapping up my day as right around the time he hit the 3.5 hour mark, I guess. It would have been 4:30 our time. So I didn't get to hear how it turned out. Did he finish? Did he make it? Or did he have to call it a day and go handle the little tykes? Yeah, it sounds like it. Funny enough, and I'm not a No Man's Sky player. For whatever reason, it just never sticks with me. I think it's the arcadey feel of it, because I kind of got that back when I played a lot of Empyrean, and I'm kind of burnt out on that. That's the best kind of game, though. One that's a pain in the neck that keeps bringing you back, that's a good game. That's sometimes how I feel about Elite. Yeah, there we go. We got all of it in one spot. That's what I wanted. Can get both of the biologicals. It did, like, hearing him talk about it and stuff falling off the truck and stuff, it really made me want to play SnowRunner. I haven't fired up SnowRunner in forever. But every time I do, I have a good time with that game. Oh, he did finish then. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention when he made it then. It's entirely possible. That I was coming in hot, wings not level at all at the end of the day. Day after holiday is always rough, so mail was thick, kind of heavy, slowing me down. And I realized in my last hour that I was going to have to substantially pick up the pace, so I was more focused on trying to get back to the office on time than listening in that time. No, I get that. I like creative games. I know one of the things I'm going to stream is Vintage Story, and it is very much a... I mean, if you've ever played Minecraft, it's Minecraft for adults. It's still a block-based game. It's got just a lot more depth to the crafting and the world elements and stuff like that. Exit Rover. But it's definitely on my list. Yeah, I kind of thought you were a No Man's Sky only kind of gal. That's okay. Look, people find their niche. If it's what you enjoy, play it. My roommate upstairs, he is famous because he's probably got 120 games in his Steam library. And he'll get in a mood where just nothing hits. And I'll be sitting here watching the notifications pop up, you know. He started playing this. Oh, now he's playing this. And 10 minutes later, he's on to something else. And I just sit down here and giggle, because I get hooked into a game, and I'll play it for 2,000 hours straight. Now, granted, I'm probably going to take about a 6-month break after that. That's kind of what happened the last time I got really into Elite. I burned probably 1700 hours. And then something else grabbed my attention. I don't even remember what it was. I think it was Ghost Recon, honestly. But that's the way it goes for me. ADHD, hyperfixation, for the win. But you definitely got to play, you know, what the things you enjoy. If it frustrates you, it's probably the wrong game. That's why I don't play Dark Souls. That's their whole game world right there, and I couldn't stand it. I think just watching that game, honest to God, pisses me off. I could never play it. Yeah, well, you run into that with everything. I've talked, you know, off and on about Empyrean here and in the Discord. And for those of you who haven't played it, it's kind of Elite-esque, at least on foot. You construct ships using blocks, and you have to manage oxygen, food, suit energy. There's a couple of survival aspects to it. And kind of like No Man's Sky, you have to mine things in the ground and things like that. Why am I running? Did I not get out in a rover? I sure did, and I left that rover sitting. You guys didn't say anything. Just gonna let me run all over this planet? I mean, it's definitely on brand for the way this evening's gone. But it was a lot of fun, you know, and we played it a ton through early access. Hey, if that's what it takes. Previous, I got my mother into crocheting, which is funny because I cannot crochet. I can knit, but I can't crochet. I never could learn. My great-grandmother, God bless her, she tried for probably 10 years to teach me how to crochet, and as I understand it, it's easier than knitting. But I never could figure out, even just like a one-stitch chain, I could not get it to save my life. But she learned, and she's been making these realistic dolls and knitting scarves and afghans and everything else. It's got to look like some kind of Mad Hatter crochet factory in her house right now. Well, it's something you guys can share, and it's something that most people our age don't get to share with their parents. See a woman your age playing video games and enjoying it. I get a real kick out of that. Because I'm in my late 30s, so I grew up in the generation of you're sitting too close to the TV and you need to go outside and quit playing those damn games. And there's some merit to that. You know, we're seeing the effects now with, you know, teenagers and the amount of screen time they have and the fact that nobody can do anything that doesn't hold their attention for 30 seconds before they need to move on. But at the same time, you know, video games is something me and my youngest brother really bonded over, and we play a lot together sometimes, but it's exceptionally cool to me that, you know, you get to share in that world with your kids. Yeah, I don't mind knitting. I love to knit. And I used to catch a little flack for it until I finally started explaining to people that it was originally a man's profession. Exit rover. Yeah, originally it was, I think historically, most likely it was used in making fishing nets and stuff. Probably long before it was thought to be used to make clothing or textiles of some kind. And that's a wild experience in itself. Have you ever seen somebody knit a fishing net? You're basically using shovels as needles. It's a really strange process to watch. Of course, I'm also at that point in life where I don't really care what anybody thinks. If somebody wants to give me guff because I knit, well, they can go jump in a lake. I literally don't have the time to spend on it. Well, things are finally Of course, now that I've, you know, commented on it out loud, it's all going to go to hell. Oh, come on. These are just inside the range. I'm at 480 meters out of 500. I might be able to get the last one. Exit rover. I might be able to get the very end of this one. Oh, look at that. Thank you. 19 million in the bank. I think that's also the first Stratum Tectonicus I found in the region. Well, no, because I'm still in the Abyss. I don't know how that works. Oh, I can't even imagine undertaking knitting a blanket. That I only ever knitted scarves, and I think one or two like beanie hats. I never was very good at circular knitting, using circular needles or double point needles, either one, because I'm a lefty, so I've also got that challenge going for me. Well, I think it was the first one in this region for me, because you get the codex entry pop up for each region. I'm not sure if you noticed. So people that there are truly insane people out there who are trying to fill out their codex, so they have to go find every biology in every variant, in every color, in every region. That sounds like a 10-year project in and of itself. Yeah, my mom's working on a blanket for me right now. Which is good. My grandmother had a crocheted Afghan, and I loved it. I don't know what happened to it. It was my great-grandmother, so I'm sure one of my great-aunts or uncles ended up with it. But I remember an awful lot of time laying on the living room floor watching TV wrapped up in that Afghan. So I am excited. I am excited to get my own, and it'll definitely be something I hang on to. Do I really want to run? No, I don't want to run. I've got a rover. It is nice, though, trying to like you said, have such a wide-ranging community. It is nice. I, for one, very much appreciate not being the old person in the room, because that gets exhausting. And luckily, I think our crowd is pretty much all late 20s and up, I think, as far as the Delta group goes. Which is good. I do training at work, and we get these 17, 18, well, now we get 18, 19-year-old kids in, and they're built different, I'm telling you. And not in a good way. Sometimes they are really hard to train, and I'm a patient person, but man, it trusts. It tries my patience sometimes. I was running because I forgot I had the rover. Honestly, when I'm just playing by myself, sometimes I do that. Sometimes I'll just get out and decide to take a stroll and hunt down all the biology, especially, well, let me back that up. How that usually happens is I'll land on a tussock or something that's got a 150-meter radius, and I'll just be like, oh, I'll just grab these on foot instead of getting in and out of the rover. And then I'll get to, like, the third sample, and I'll be, 500 meters from the ship, and, oh, look, here's another one. I just start stringing them together. And then I'll look up, and all of a sudden I'll get the ship departing notification and realize I've walked 2 kilometers away from my ship. It's so easy to do. Ah, that was Bacterium Cerberus, by the way. I don't recall what you thought it was. I don't think it was that. I kind of thought it was Cerberus. That's usually what gets paired up with Tectonicus. At least in my experience. For the times I'm paying attention, which admittedly is probably not as much as I should. Would have been real nifty if I was paying attention right about the time I slammed an aspects into a planet earlier. That would have been handy. Alas, it was not meant to be. I don't have the listing in front of me. Honestly, I think that's in the codex. Oh, that's going to be a nightmare to get to right now. No, organic. B is for bacteria. Get it together, Murdoch. Probably that one, however you pronounce that. This is neat too. If you're looking for a specific one and you don't know where to find it, you can come into the codex. And where it says reported, so if you are trying to fill out your codex, you don't have to organically find them all necessarily. You can come in and say, okay, I want to get the Omentum. I mean, it doesn't give you the color variant, but it does give you a place to go. Oh, no, it does right there. White, peach, red, blue. So if you are one of the people that want to go hunt that, that is a way you can do that. Come in, and I believe if I select that, it'll show me, yep, sure does. So that's one way to do it, and that should be divided, yeah, it's divided by region. So when you enter the next region, you can just repeat. Arisis, okay, yeah. I feel like Bacterium arisis is really common. I feel like I get that a lot. Whoa. Did it again. The old throttle up and then take the e-brake off. Should really stop doing that. It's going to cause me an unfortunate end to my existence at some point. And thanks for stopping by, Delta Creator. Have a good night. And good luck with the No Man's Sky expedition. Sounds like you guys need it. Oh, I completely forgot. I went off on a tangent about how much that reminded me of SnowRunner. Because I was really bad when I first started playing about tipping my trucks over and having to release cargo and then, you know, winch the truck back up flat and then hope that I had a truck with a crane so I could at least recover the cargo. I might be tempted to stream some of that at some time. I really enjoy that game. I don't know how that would work, though. That's more... I've always played that keyboard and mouse. Exit Rover.
Drive assist off.
I see that MudRunner, which was the precursor, is available standalone on my VR headset. So I imagine you can run it in Steam VR also. I haven't checked to confirm that, though. That could be a fun trip. It's not nearly the same amount of game, though. And that's kind of the reason I bought SnowRunner. Because MudRunner, you only have like a few tasks for each map. The maps are much smaller, there's way fewer vehicles. And then you get into SnowRunner and it's all the mechanics you loved in MudRunner, and it's just like times 20. It's really hard to go back after that. But I might be tempted for VR. I can't imagine, unless it was just a ton of work to make it VR capable with MudRunner and nobody used it, that they wouldn't also have that as part of SnowRunner. I don't know. We'll see what we get into. Right now, the hook is in pretty deep with Elite Dangerous. But I do know from experience that if I add something in rotation, it will certainly help prevent the burnout. Whoa. Just trying to keep this thing on the rails here. I really desperately need to set up a mute key so I don't have to keep pulling up OBS to mute for a cough. It is. Oh yeah, and it's a very it's an oddly specific itch. It's so hard, like, to replicate all the things I love about Elite in any other game. The closest I think I could get is probably it's Interstellar Rift, which is no longer a thing, but Exit Rover. Interstellar Rift was very cool. It was essentially a lot of the same flight mechanics. Basically you had like impulse, like normal space flying. You had up to 10 levels of warp. You kind of did the same thing when you were approaching things, like where you had to throttle down and you were watching a timer to get there. But the difference is you could design your own ships, and you could put all the like if you wanted to do a mining ship, then you built it in a layout that made sense for mining. And instead of just operating in your ship and do the mining operation and move cargo, like, you know, you had 10 cargo slots where you could carry 10 cubes of whatever at a time, and they didn't just go into imaginary cargo space. You had to put cargo space on your ships, and you could fit 8 cubes to a pad, so if you wanted meaningful cargo, you had to have a pretty good sized ship. Sadly, it was all written in 32-bit, and when 64 kind of became the standard, the dev team just sort of, well, it wasn't a very big dev team, if I remember right. It was actually kind of like one guy. But it was a really cool game, and I wish I could have seen what it would have become. I probably put 600 hours in it, but it's probably the closest thing in mechanics and feel, at least to me, to Elite. I understand X4 Foundations is a much better parallel, but I've never played X4. And if they ever shut down Elite and don't follow through on their original promise, I will switch to X4. But as I understand it, it's closer to EVE with... It's like a blending of EVE and Elite, I think. I don't know. Don't quote me on that, because I've never played it. Or really watched any gameplay on it. Hey, there's no rocks to run into here. That is probably to my better. I always have stopped too far back. Dock Rover. And I've done that since I started playing the game. I'm not sure if it's just a spatial awareness problem I have where it doesn't register when I'm in the right spot under the ship or what. Civ 5. I never played Civ 5. The last Civilization game I played was Civ 3, and that was in the 90s. Ton of fun, though. I do like the concept, but I can see how those two things might mesh up. Kind of like Elite with its colonization mechanic, only more focused on the colony management, maybe, than the building. Delta 1, you missed it, brother. I died before you did. I was coming into land and smacked my ass right off a planet. It was glorious. I now have to travel 65,000 light years to get Warframe or Brandy at some point. Not looking forward to that. We've been out just having a real chill stream. Let's see if Streamlabs is awake. I don't have a lot of faith. Hey, it worked! I respawned on Distant Sun, so it wasn't terrible. My pride was hurt more than anything, and honestly, of all the things I lost, I am the most upset about the brandy. I now have a sadly empty inventory. Sorry, Wharfy. I did do the rough math. I put a little over 150,000 light years on that brandy, though.
Cannot
Yeah.
reply.
Well,
Landing gear retracted.
landing gear.
4, 3, 2.
Yeah, we've just kind of been chilling, doing a real lazy stream. Not by much, honestly. I found that missing size 5 FSD that I had engineered. It was attached to my DBX exactly where it was supposed to be. It's not far behind the Caspian. Honestly, I think the ASP would have survived if I had just been running shields, but this was not meant to be. Hey, wait a minute. There's another body in this system that has a Tectonicus B2. I'm going to take that one too. Why not? We're in the neighborhood. Yeah, exactly. Something about horseshoes and hand grenades. That wasn't the phrase that came to mind when I smacked into the planet. What I had coming to mind was a phrase regarding a monkey and a football. But it had to happen. I will say that is the first time in well over 2,000 hours of Elite I have ever crashed into a planet, and I have crashed into plenty of planets, but the two events have never coincided. So I guess in a roundabout way, I got to do something new and fun, and it's forever enshrined on YouTube now. Oh no, it was right at the beginning of the stream. If you want to see it, it's in the first 10 minutes. It will live on in internet. Oh. Hey, I've got SCO. I can use that. Oh, that was the other part. The planet I crashed into was 150,000 light seconds out, and I was in an ASP. So there was no getting there with any urgency. And then to get there only to die. Yeah, I'd say it was a bit ago. I think I started at 8 or a little after, maybe. I can't remember. Too many beers ago, which is really saying something since I've been drinking sweet tea. How was the rest of the evening? How was the rest of your stream? Because I kind of didn't get to pay attention to about the last hour. I was running behind and then coming in hot, so I was not listening nearly as much. After I dropped that link in, it was about the last time I paid attention. At some point, I will get a camera set up. It's on the list. I need to reorient the desk, because right now I've got open room behind me, and that is not at all conducive to green screen, and it's a long room, so there's a lot of background back there. The shock and heartbreak. That was my payback for making fun of all the agony you went through today, losing stuff off of your vehicle in No Man's Sky. That was karma. 100%. No, honestly, I was just flying at the planet. Yeah, it was not high gravity. I turned off my night vision because I was coming up to that kind of cool geology going on the surface, and I wanted to see it with the headlights. And it just didn't click in my brain that by the time I was close enough, I had better have already slowed down. It didn't work. I pulled up, I fired the verticals, I tried my damnedest to get away, and it just... If I'd had shields on that ship, I'd have been okay. And I can't remember why I took them off. I think I took them off to make room for the rescue limpets, which is ironic since my thought process was, well, if I, ding it up, I'll just use a repair limpet. It was oddly reckless for me. I was channeling my inner Delta. My inner Delta Juan, specifically. For sure. Yeah. But hey, it had to happen sometime, right? Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure he will. I can't wait to write that in the story, and I'm sad because I have been slacking hard. And I've got an awful lot of ground to make up on. But the story of crash landing on a planet out in the abyss as the senior explorer of the expedition crew it truly tells a tale all its own. It's gonna be something special. Oh, no, it is not. Not at all. And I'm rusty as hell, so it's not making it any easier. We were hypothesizing earlier. I don't think you ever wrap back around to the Kestrel. I asked you that question, and it would have been a better question for tomorrow's stream. What do you think the odds are that we end up with a small explorer in the near future? Because I would personally love to see a DBX Mark II. It could be a clone of the DBX as long as it was SCO stable, because that is the biggest annoyance for me. I want a small exploration ship with all the benefits of a small exploration ship. I mean, admittedly, it's not this thing. This thing, I've got everything but the kitchen sink in here, right? I've got 2 AFMUs, Guardian booster, a 7A fuel scoop, shields, the 4G planetary hangar. What else we got in here? I've got lasers on here just for kicks and giggles. Both flight assist modules, a repair limpet, a fighter hangar to the roof. But there's something about being out in a small ship. And if it weren't so damn inconvenient to have to fly to like a 200,000 light second secondary system, I'd never leave one. That's fair. You have been to Beagle Point. I give you credit for that. Too. I would love to see one, but since we've gotten the Mandalay and the Caspian fairly, well, not really close together, but since we just got the Caspian, I don't... Why do I still have the overlay? That's a bug, right? Yeah. I've never seen that. I'm out of Super Cruise, and I still have the biology highlight. That's going to be problematic. I'm going to land and log the menu and see if that fixes that, because that's going to make this fairly difficult. But they also released, they're talking 6 ships for the year. I mean, we've used up one with the Kestrel. They're using up another one with the operations-specific ship. Whatever that is. Small combat ships, because they've made a point of talking about wanting a return to smaller combat ships, which I think, there's merit to that, because there's an awful lot of folks out there in a fully engineered Corvette, and if you don't have a fully engineered Corvette, it's hard to keep up. I mean, I love playing in a combat zone with Andy because he can stomp all over everything, but I can tell when we're playing in wing he'll nearly kill something and let off the trigger and sit there and stare at it while I close distance so I can at least get a shot on it and get the shared kill credit. So I think it's fairly likely we get 2 combat ships that are small or medium this year. See, this is the problem with the Caspian. It lies to you. It says I can land, and then I get down there and it won't land. Come on. I've wiggled every which way. Yeah, you're flying. You're also flying a Corvette. See, that makes perfect sense. No, I could see where it's fun to get a couple of them together. I think if we had 4 or 5 of them set up in the squad and just went and stomped a mud hole all over a Hazres, I think that would be a great time. Which is part of the reason I'm really hoping for a large combat ship, but honestly, with the comments they were making about wanting to get back to small ships for combat, I don't know how likely it is we get one. Like, I know everybody, like, how many players do they piss off if they do that after, you know, people spent forever grinding Fed rank to get the Corvette unlocked? Because I'm certainly not going to do it. You know, I am quite content with my Federal Assault ship and a Chief Petty Officer rank. That'll do me just dandy. I'm also mildly upset that the Kestrel has got the Eagle cockpit, because I hate the Eagle cockpit. It's got too many bars in all the wrong places in your way. I would much rather have seen the Federal Assault Ship cockpit. Yeah, no, I can see that point of view too. I just, you know, sometimes the elite community belly aches about the wrong thing. I personally would love to see the large ship because of that exact reason, right? It would give me, hopefully, I mean, I know with the power creep it's not all that likely, but hopefully it would only be comparable to a Corvette and not wildly exceeding it, but that doesn't really fit the trend. It would be fun to be able to do that, though. There was a tiny little spot right back there. This is like you on that mountaintop on Salome's Reach. If you were trying to land the Empire State Building. Come on. Just dock. Shut down the thrusters. You're sitting on the ground. That mountain was keeping you good and busy. Oh, thank God. Whew. Telling you. A needle in a haystack sometimes. Yeah, the grind the grind is definitely a passion killer. 100%. Honestly, though, I don't have, like, and I didn't go, you know, all the way to Rear Admiral or whatever the rank is. So I don't have the same memories, but just to get to Chief Petty Officer, I didn't really feel like I had to work that hard. I mean, it was still a slog. You know, I was out there dodging back and forth, I think in a Federal dropship for a good long while. But
Low gravity warning.
as I understand it, it's kind of like trying to get elite in exobiology. It gets progressively harder as you close rank, so... Yeah, I thought so. Let's get the Stratum first. Hey, Rover, how about you get it together? Thank you. Or not.
Drive assist off. Drive assist on.
Behave. This thing's been very ill-tempered this evening. Gonna have to have Wilford take a look at it when we put it. I was watching another streamer last night that I had never watched. I actually stayed up far too late watching their stream. They are a console player. And the whole, I mean, they were doing a mic off stream. I think it's a woman, but I'm not sure. Doing a mic off stream, and all they were doing was jumping and scanning. And we had, you know, some interesting conversations about writing and things connected to the Elite Universe. Exit rover. Alright, Trank, no worries. Gotta keep the feline overlords happy. It was Ono something. Hold that thought. Because I did make a command just in case she popped in. Twitch at some point. Like she used to stream on Twitch. He, she, I'm not really sure. I'm fairly confident it's a woman, just not 100%. But they used to stream on Twitch. They took a long break from the game because, you know, they got pissed off with everybody else and they stopped supporting console. And just recently came back, switched over to YouTube. But we were chatting back and forth, and, you know, they've got a little group over there. And they just thought it was the neatest thing that we had kind of started a group RP writing project for all intents and purposes. Because I kind of, you know, gave a brief summary and threw chapter 1 up in their Discord. That was fun, though. It's always fun to get out and see somebody else, you know, in the smaller-minded community kind of thing going. You know, there's a lot of gaming groups where stuff like that's completely inconsequential. And I mean, I get it. You know, like the guys doing Milsim Armor Reforged, they're not gonna sit there and, you know, come up with like a character sheet and figure out what their guys' flaws are. They're getting in there to simulate, you know, battle as best they can, and that's what their goal is. So I get it. Different strokes for different folks. Other like-minded people like that are out in the wild, so to speak. And console players aren't as rare as you might think. Any given night when I'm monitoring Rat Chat, I'd say anywhere between 25% and 40% of the calls coming in are for console. They do seem to come in fits and spurts. I don't know what that's about. But, and same thing with foreign languages. You'll get like 3 different foreign languages in a row, and then a bunch of English guys. I would love to see the tracked statistics on Fuel Rat's calls. I think that's got to be an interesting spreadsheet to look at. But there do seem to be an awful lot of console players still out there having fun, enjoying the game. Which, you know, I'm glad for. I'm a little sad that to see that we're still sharing exploration finds with them. So, like, if a console player discovers a planet and maps it, that's their commander name is still going to show in our version of Elite. That I still think is cool. Makes me wonder if they could cross over that data, why they couldn't just do full crossplay, but oh yeah. I never played console. I played for like 20 hours Exit Rover. And the hook didn't set, right? I got away and swam off into the wild blue yonder. And then when I came back and tried the next time, Odyssey was out. And it didn't even, I don't think it stuck the second time really either. Eventually it did, at some point. Because I put, oh, I don't know, 60 hours in, something like that. And then took off on the Apollo 14 expedition, so. Yeah, as I understand it, the third-party tools are not ever going to work again. Which sucks, right? Because, I mean, outside of that, it still ultimately gets reported. If they go turn it in and get the credit for the discovery in-game, and then eventually the Frontier API will catch up, but It's not nearly as fast, I don't think, as having something like Market Connector running. And I did see your question in Discord. There is a Google submission form for Earth-like world finds. And basically, they're going to pull the data from EDSM. So you find it, you discover it, go ahead, turn everything in as normal, and then you fill out the Google form with the system that you've located the Earth-like world in, and they're going to cross-check that against EDSM. And you don't have to be the discoverer. If you bump into a planet that is closely matching Earth conditions, spacing, all that, whatever the conditions are. I haven't read up on the specific parameters yet. But if somebody else has already discovered it, you can still turn that in. They'll credit the original discoverer as the person who found that planet, and I think you'll get credit for submitting it. Exit rover.
Drive assist off.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, they're basically aggregating all that data, right? And if you don't have the data, what's the point in supporting, you know, a back-end web service to handle it all? It's at that point, it's just an expense. And I honestly don't know how these guys are offering some of this stuff for free to them. But I mean, we all do stuff like that. I would argue that streaming is a sort of passion project for me. I know well and good the odds of me ever getting a big enough channel to quit my day job are well below slim to none. So it's really just about engaging with the community and having a good time and giving people a place to hang out and chat. And I appreciate watching your streams, so I certainly enjoy being able to throw one up that you can just kick back and watch and not have to be the entertainer for the evening. I do understand the value in that. Yeah, well, I was explaining that earlier, how much of a relief it is just to have somebody in Discord with you. And it's not that you don't have to do 100% of the talking. Exit rover. You know, and I've been at it for, what, 3 hours now, a little over. And, you know, I try not to let more than 10 seconds of dead air fall. I don't always succeed, but I try. It's 500 meters on those two. I'm really not making a whole ton of money here. I miss exobiology. I did not have first footfall, so this is literally just for giggles. Oh, brother. Yeah, I don't know about that. I will certainly try one at some point. Try being the operative word. I do silly shit like that and not even bat an eye, but honest to God, the thought of being live for 24 hours, that is terrifying to a degree. That is an awful long time. Like, and I get it, right? You take 15 minutes here and there and stand up, stretch, move around, eat, go have your long overdue coughing fit in the other room, whatever needs to happen. But that's a commitment. That's a hell of a commitment. Yeah, Trank was having that issue a bit too. I'm not sure. I mean, we've got pretty solid service here. It's not fiber or anything, but I've got like 3. I think it's. I don't know. I'd have to speed test it, which I'm not going to do right now. Exit rover. OBS is consistently telling me it's excellent stream health, and I'm not showing any dropped frames, but I'm not getting through OBS, so clearly not everything's communicating the way it's supposed to. Yeah, it's one of those quirks. And it may just be that my roommate's upstairs doing something kind of bandwidth intensive. It could be a local network issue for that matter. I mean, I'm hardlined in, but that doesn't always solve the problem. I got a weird amount of views on that VOD from the VR stream. I was kind of shocked by the amount of traffic that saw. In like 48 hours, no less. I never imagined it would get that kind of traffic. It was close to 200 views last time I looked at it. Well, that's true. I guess it would detect that if it was dropping frames on the way to YouTube. But again, that's assuming it's all communicating right, and since my chat's not working, it's clearly not doing that. I need to sort that out. I had to turn the auto mod off. I had it on the lowest setting, and Trank's first message, it decided it was going to delete. Which I know, past experience, because I used Streamlabs when I was on Twitch too. And I knew it was aggressive, that's why I started it on the lowest setting, but I didn't think... honestly, I didn't feel like messing with it. I very much wanted to play in VR. I almost said, no, I'm not streaming, just so I could relax and play in VR tonight. But streaming in VR is considerably more work. Because I can't just... I don't... Like, I've got chat up on a second screen, and... I've got a third screen up with ED Buddy and stuff like that. And I can pin all those, but then I'm relying on all that working right and stream on flat screen. I'm still going to stream VR, don't get me wrong. But it was a headache I didn't want tonight. When I close up shop, I'll probably play for another hour or so in VR just to get my fix. Yeah, I'm telling you, I was shocked by that. The only other video, oddly enough, that I ever had a view count worth a hoot on was one of those god-awful Rhizome videos I did. And it's such a niche game. Like, it is the nichiest to be conceived. And I am literally... When I put those videos up, I was the only Rhizome content on YouTube. Nobody else was making videos for this nearly dead MMO. And I racked up... I can't remember. I think it's over 1,000 views on one of them. I hadn't looked at it in a couple of years, and I pulled it up and I went, holy crap, what happened here? And it was just, random people, mostly in countries not the US, because their player base is, I think, mostly European at this point. It was wild. It was a wild experience, though, to see that kind of view count on one of my videos. Seems to be a rock there. 93 on my past VOD or currently? Hopefully on my past VOD. If I've got 100 people watching this hot garbage, we need to talk. I got too close. Oh, that's too close to the first sample. Come on now. No, it may be 93. Maybe I'm thinking of total watch time or something. I'm still getting used to looking at the metrics. I'm fairly annoyed that chat's not working in OBS, because now I've got a second browser window dedicated to watching my own stream just so I can have chat up. Yeah, that's not bad. I had a couple people drop in. Shock dropped in. Shelly dropped in. Delta Creator. Dash, I think, for a short while at the start there. I got some love. I'm not mad about it. Especially given that I'm not trying all that hard to grow the channel. I mean, it's just... Again, it's a labor of love. Just a fun way to give back, have a little fun, grow community. There is no bacteria over here anywhere. I just need one more. One more and I can leave this rock. Yeah. They dropped in on the first one, I think. Fairly immediately, too. Like, it wasn't a long wait. And I had people showing up, and I was like, oh, wow, okay. Because I know when I first started streaming on Twitch, and I never got huge. I think I barely had more subscribers on Twitch than I do here. Sometimes I just sit and stream for an hour or two and have that one guy sitting down there watching shit. We appreciate the one person who sticks around and interacts. That makes it worth doing. I'll certainly sit here and stream if one person is willing to watch. I'll sit here and talk to him. It's a strange dynamic, but it works. Stream to yourself. That sounds like the space madness setting in, brother. For sure. Honestly, yeah, some of those... I can't tell you, because I was streaming a lot of Empyrean Galactic Survival. And one of the things, like, because you build your ships block by block in that. It's kind of like Space Engineers in that regard. And one of the best things I remember, I had a guy come in, and he was like, you know, hey, I suck at building, do you have any tips? And he just hung out for like 4 hours watching me build a ship in survival from scratch that I was just throwing together. And, you know, I was given the explanation as I went along. Exit rover. Exit rover.
Drive assist off.
There we go. And it was, you know, I had a ton of fun because, you know, I do love the teacher mentor thing. That's something I've always had fun doing. And to be able to, you know, have him asking questions about specific things he was struggling with. You know, how did you bring the nose together like that? Or what's the right amount of this spec to have on a ship? Stuff like that. It was a lot of fun. And I have a lot of fond memories of that. You're not wrong. Those 1 or 2 viewer streams they're good. They're certainly special. There's something special. And honestly, I really don't care to have more than 50 viewers at once. That would be a busy time for me. And thank God I haven't had many tonight, because it's been a hot mess. This has been a ride on the Hot Mess Express. And we got on said train from the struggle bus, so it was all downhill. Dock rover. Copy. No rush, sir. I haven't done that yet myself. I should probably consider what I'm going to do to rectify that situation.
Drive assist off.
Take a brief moment here in the action. Yeah, I'm showing 93 views too. I must have been looking at a different statistic. That's still way more than I thought, for sure. I would not... Oh, I've got 8 views up on the core mining video. That was pretty quick cut together, though. And to be quick cut is being generous. It's not cut at all. I shot it in one take and faded it and called it good. I do not have a strong passion for video editing whatsoever. I think that is everything of value in this system. Let's get
Landing gear retracted.
get a good angle there and check again. Nope, there's do I really? Yeah, why not? Let's see. A6 and A7 are terraformable. I might as well map them. I'm here. Oh, no rush. Put together. It's definitely nothing special. But it covers the basics, and that's what I wanted it to do.
Frameshift drive charging.
Oh, am I really still too close? Apparently. Yeah, I'm kind of excited. Now I can focus on making some money with Astrid. She needs some coin in her pocket. Now that I've got that that primary port not hanging over my head, that feels pretty good. And that was entirely a problem of my own making. I mean, I've got Herschel sitting over there. I certainly could have hauled material on the fleet carrier and made that job a lot. Came over and we hauled all of the CMM composites over on his carrier, and he helped me truck some of it over. So that knocked out, well, I'd say it knocked out 14 loads, but we had to load and unload the carrier, so it was still probably the same number of loads, but it was a much faster trip. But now I can just kind of throw stuff in there and work as I feel like it. You know, if I go 2 or 3 weeks and don't haul a single ton of steel over there, so be it. I am looking forward to some core mining, though. I've got the itch. And I'm excited, because I can offer way better pricing on something like monazite for people trying to make money. I mean, it's a vastly different time investment than laser mining for sure. I'm gonna say it takes 3 to 5 times as long per unit mined. But I mean, the payout's commensurate, right? So it's really a case of what task you want to do. Oh, the sounds of core mining. That is... I say it in the video and I'll say it again. That is not only the best sound in this game, it might be the best sound in any video game I have ever played. The sound of an asteroid getting blown apart in Elite Dangerous is peak sound design. No question about it. That's the whole reason I core mine. And I prefer to core mine in an ice ring. I love cracking ice rocks.